Good afternoon to all. I welcome you all to this webinar series organized by the Institute of Physics Sri Lanka. The Institute of Physics Sri Lanka is the apex body of physicists in Sri Lanka. So it's established by a Parliamentary Act number 12 in 1986. One of our objectives is to promote and advance the science of physics among the Sri Lankans. So in achieving this objective, so we are organizing this webinar series. So first of all, I would like to welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Roshan Thotagamuge from the Faculty of Technology, Wayamba University. And I think he's going to talk about an interesting topic, how to publish in scholarly journals. And I think this will be a very interesting topic, especially for the undergraduates and the graduate students who are planning for publishing their scientific work. So before starting or handing over to Dr. Thotagamuge, I would like to invite Dr. Chaturi Nupearachi, the convener of this webinar series, to introduce Dr. Thotagamuge.
Well, thank you, sir. I would give a very brief description about our speaker today. Dr. Roshan Thotagamuge is a senior lecturer and a material scientist in the field of nanomaterial simulation, synthesis, and characterizations for sensors, solar cells, and photonic devices at the Department of Nanoscience Technology, Faculty of Technology in Wayamba University of Sri Lanka. Also, he serves as a visiting academic for the University of Brunei, and his work has contributed to materials simulation and the development of sensor materials for detecting toxic gases at low temperatures. He has published more than 40 peer-reviewed research articles with more than 1,100 citations, and he also has an H index of 21 in Scopus. In addition to that, Dr. Roshan serves as an editorial board member of 3 international peer-reviewed journals, namely Journal of Sensor, PLOS 1, and Sustainability. Also, he contributes as a reviewer for more than 25 peer-reviewed international journals. So without taking much time, I would like to hand over the digital platform to Dr. Roshan Thotagamuge. Over to you, Dr. Roshan.
Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome by Dr. Pitigala, as well as thank you very much, Dr. Chaturi, for your nice introduction. Also, thank you very much for having me here today in this webinar organized by Institute of Physics Sri Lanka. As Dr. Chaturi introduced, I am Roshan Thotagamuge from Wayamba University of Sri Lanka. Today, I'm going to talk about how to publish in scholarly journals. Okay. So the first we have to understand what is the scholarly journal or what is the peer review journal. So peer review is an evaluation process of a manuscript by an expert in the field. Expert meaning the reviewers. If any journal doing this kind of process, doing this peer review process, we can call that journal as a peer review journal or scholarly journal. Of course, this the peer review process started in early 16th, mid of 16th century by Royal Society in London. You can see on your right-hand side their first publication doing this peer review process. In the peer review process, reviewer contribute to the process by examining and commenting on the manuscript. They are playing the huge role in this peer review process. Therefore, the reviewer are the backbone of the whole process, where they keep the check and balance for scientific communication. Okay, in this, I'm going to show you the peer review journal and publication growth over the time. You can see in your top panel, in the 19th century, there were about 700 plus peer review journals. But you can see this number of peer review journal is rapidly increasing. Then at the moment, we have about 30,000 peer review journals. And also the same kind of trend you can see from the bottom panel. And the bottom panel show you the number of peer review publication over the time. Starting in 1950, you can see about 25,000 peer review publications, but it will rapidly increase over the time. And at the moment, we are having about 5 million peer review publication per year. Okay, so now we have to talk a little bit more about the peer review process. But before I talk about the peer review process, let me talk about the step of your publication. When you submit the manuscript to any journal, there are some steps going through your manuscript. Okay, the first one, of course, as an author, you're going to prepare your manuscript. According to the Elsevier data, they have been receiving 1.3 million manuscripts per year for their journal. Of course, once author prepare the manuscript and submit it to journal, then this interesting process is starting. That peer review process is starting. During the peer review process, of course, the reviewer and the editor going to be involved in this process. According to the Elsevier statistic, again, for that 1.3 million manuscript, about 700,000 peer reviewer and 17,000 editors going to handle this process. Of course, once the peer review process completed from the journal will accept manuscript and publish it. You know that according to the Elsevier statistics, they have received that 1.3 million per year. Then out of that, they just published about 400,000 manuscript in their 2,500 active journal. But other all manuscript going to be rejected. Once the published the article, it will be available in database to get the access by the reader. And then eventually it will be stored in the secure database for future users worldwide. That is the cycle going through any manuscript submitted to the journal. Okay, so in here also, the most crucial part is the peer review process of the manuscript. Let's understand how this peer review process is happening once you submit your manuscript to the journal. You can see from this diagram here, the peer review process is starting once the author submit the manuscript to the journal. Then the journal editor over here going to check the manuscript detail and select the reviewer to get the reviewer comment. Once the reviewer finish the thorough reading on the manuscript, they will send the recommendation to the editor. Then editor going to contact author again, ask to amend the manuscript according to the reviewer comment. Then of course, author going to do all the revision, then resubmit the manuscript to the journal. Then journal editor will take the final decision. But this round may go for several times. It's not just one time, it may go several times. Let me go a little bit more detail into the review process using this flowchart. You know here, as an author, going to submit the manuscript to the journal. Then the journal editorial team will start the screening process. That one we call as a screening process. In the screening process, what they are going to check, they will check your manuscript fit with the journal scope and journal aims. And also they will check the plagiarism of the manuscript. If that manuscript fail with any criteria of the journal, they will reject the manuscript straight away. If everything is okay, then journal editor will find the reviewer to review the manuscript. Once the reviewer do the assignment, then the reviewer send their recommendation to the editor. Then editor will take the decision on the recommendation coming from reviewer. Of course, sometimes the reviewer can recommend to reject the manuscript, or reviewer can recommend accept manuscript without further revision. But most of the time, reviewer can ask amend the manuscript accordingly to the comment. Then the editor will contact the author again asked to amend the manuscript. Of course, once the revision work done, the author going to resubmit manuscript back to the journal, then editor will check it and send it back to the reviewer, get the recommendation again from the reviewer. That is most of the common method happening in the journal. That's why I highlighted here in the red color. This is the common method, but it can be accepted without further revision, but that one is very rare. Okay, so now you understood already the review process is really important. Now I'm going to explain you the type of reviews. Of course, there are major 3 types of review available at the moment. The first major type of review we call is a single blind review. In the single blind review, the author don't know who are the reviewers, but reviewer aware about the author identity. That's one we call as a single blind peer review system. The second one we call the double blind peer review system. In this double blind peer review system, the reviewer and author both don't know their identity. That the next one is the open peer review system. The open review system actually exactly opposite of the double blind peer review system. In this type of peer review, the open peer review system, the reviewer and the author, they both know their identity from the beginning. These 3 types of peer review system actually commonly practiced in the journal, but there are other type of peer review system as well. The collaborative peer review, third-party peer review, the post-publication peer review, and cascading peer review. But I am not going to more detail because these 4 types of peer review are not common. Okay, so now you know because already we discussed about the peer review journal and peer review process. So there are many journals doing this peer review process. Then when we have the manuscript, we have to understand how we going to find the good quality journal, quality peer review journal to our submission. And how we going to find the impact journal to our submission. Then we have to understand about the journal matrices. There are many journal matrices, but here I am going to show you most impact journal matrices. The first one called the site score. The second one called as the source normalized impact per paper. The third one is a Simago journal ranking. And most important one here, the impact factor. These 4 type of journal metrics nowadays is really important when we are ranking the journal. Of course, if you want to know the journal metrics for any journal, easily you can get access through the journalmetrics.scopus.com page. Just log to this page, then you can find all the metrics except the impact factors detail. But if you want to find the detail for the site score, NIP and SJR, easily you can get the detail from this page without paying anything. But if you want to find the impact factor detail, you have to log into the Thomson Reuters page or their journal homepage. From that, you can get all the details. Okay, I'm going to show you the one example which I extracted from Scopus metrics page. This matrix is for cancer journal for clinicians. You can see here the site score number, SJR number, and SNIP number. Actually, this number is really high. This is the highest number can get any journal at the moment, right? This is the #1 journal having this number, right? This is for Cancer Journal of Clinician. Okay, when I just log to the their web page, I can see the impact factor, but I don't see the impact factor in the previous page. But here in their web page, I can see the impact factor, which is about 286 plus. This is the highest impact factor for any journal at the moment, right? So if you want to get this kind of matrices, you have to go easily. You can go to the Scopus page or journal homepage. Then you can get all the detail what you want. Okay, so then I am going to discuss about another journal matrix called the abstract collecting and the indexing of the journal. Because indexation of journal consider is kind of reflection of its quality. Also, the index journal are considered to be a higher scientific quality compared to the non-index journal. So what are the indexing available? I think already you know about the indexing, but here I am just showing you the few common indexing like Google Scholar, COSTRIP, Publons, etc. But you can see here that this one is a Clarivate and Scopus. This Clarivate and Scopus is really important for any scientists who are doing their research and publishing their article, because Clarivate, they are the people calculating the impact factor. Right? That's why if anyone, let's say anyone want to publish something in a science citation indexing journal, they should look that journal already indexing by Clarivate, right? And also if anyone want to see their impact, like index and so on, they have to see that journal already in Scopus. That's why the Clarivate and Scopus indexing are really important. Okay. Now we already talked about the journal and the review process. Let's say you have already the prepared manuscript. Then you have to know whether you are ready to publish or not, whether you are okay to send that manuscript to the journal or not. How you going to find out? Just I am going to give you kind of simple tips. Let's say you have kind of original result and or method, or you have kind of scientific enhancement of the published work, or up-to-date review of the subject. Then if you have all those things together, then easily you can send your manuscript to the journal, meaning you are ready to publish. Other hand, if you have the outdated work, duplication of published work, or incorrect conclusion, you are not ready. Your scientific value of that paper not enough to get published. In that case, you have to improve your work until you meet this criteria. Let's say if you are ready to publish, then the question come in, how we going to submit and what type of manuscript you are going to submit. There are many type of manuscript. The first type of manuscript, the full length article. What does mean by full length article? Let's say you have completed very comprehensive piece of research work, then you can write the manuscript and cover in whole work. That type of manuscript we call full research article. The second type of manuscript, either letter or short communication. What does mean by letter or short communication? If I explain that, let's say you are doing your research. In the middle of that work, you found out very interesting data and kind of thrilling result you have. Then you want to share this result very quickly with the scientific community. Then you can write the kind of short communication or letter. The next type of manuscript is called a review paper. Review paper is usually a summary of recent development on any scientific topic. Mostly the reviewer can submit by invitation coming from the journal, but there are some journals straight away you can go and submit your review. But for that one, you have to check the journal requirement because different journal have the different requirement. So somehow this three type of manuscript, I can categorize all the manuscript into these three type. Okay, so now you already selected your the manuscript type and so on. Then you can start your journey of publication. Okay, your journey of publication, you have to write the manuscript, select the journal, submit to the journal, then go through the review process, and at the end you can publish your manuscript. Anyway, I am just not going to talk about the other topic. I will talk a little bit more about how you're going to choose the right journal for your manuscript. Okay, here I am going to give you some tips how you're going to select the correct journal, correct peer review journal for your manuscript. The first step is you have to make a prospective journal list. How are you going to make the prospective journal list? First, you have to do the desk research by your own, collecting the number of journal relevant to your work. And also the same time, you can start talking to your colleagues and supervisor, the peers, because they might have the good opinion than you, right? So in that case, you can collect those ideas. And also nowadays, journal offer this kind of journal suggested tool. Journal suggested tool, I will show you this one later, what are the journal suggested tool. The same time, you can start search call for paper. By doing this, you can make the list of prospective journal. Then once you have the list, you have to refine your list according to your research. The refining list also, you can make this kind of step here. The first, you have to get familiar yourself with the journal content. For that, of course, you have to start reading journal aims, scope statement. The same time, you have to understand journal audience. And of course, normally journal reveal their journal affiliation, editorial board, and also you can read what previous publication they have published, right? By doing that, you can start refine your journal list. And also the journal policy and the process you have to study. The same time, you have to know what type of article format they are accepting, right? Because that one is important. Some journal might not accept in all type of article. You might have the communication to send, but they are not accepting the communication. So in that case, you have to know what type of format they are accepting. Another one is your publishing option. That is also very important. I will explain this one a little bit later. The next one, journal matrices. That one already we explained, but if you want to get the impact for your research, you have to know the journal matrices. Then after all that, you can select the one journal, make sure you trust the journal you have selected before you go to the submission. These 3 tips is really important when you are selecting the right journal for your publication journey. As I mentioned before, there are some journal suggested tool available nowadays. This one I got from Taylor and Francis. This is a publisher name. You can use this link to log to their journal suggested tool. What all you have to do, just get your abstract and paste it here. Then click on this button, reveal suggested deal. It will pop up with the few suggested journal. Then you can read the journal scope and so on. Then you can just follow the previously what I explained. And again here, the second one I extracted from Elsevier publisher. You just click on this link, then it will of course open with the journal suggested tool. Here you want your title for the manuscript, the keywords and abstract. Once you throw everything over here, then it will suggest you the prospective journal you to submit. But just I show you only 2 examples, but you can find many journal suggested tool from other publisher as well. Okay, as I mentioned before, understanding your publishing option also nowadays very important, because there are many type of publishing option, but among them I can categorize all the publication option into 2 groups. The first one is the open access method, and the second one is the subscription type one. In the open access method, after accept your publication to publish, the author has to pay some money to the journal. Then journal will publish it, and at the end, the reader will get the free access to your publication. It is very good to get the higher visibility for your publication, as well as you can get the high impact for your work. And the second type of the publication option, we call it a subscription type. In the subscription type publication option, the author doesn't have to pay any money during the publication process. But once it published, the reader has to pay some money, get the access to your publication. But in this case, the visibility going to be less compared to the open access method. But you can decide which way you want to publish, all depending on your availability of the funding. Okay, now you already selected the journal. Already you know which method you are going for the publication. Then you have to prepare your manuscript according to the journal. For that one, easiest way, because each and every journal, they have their own journal, the author guideline, So you just go to the journal homepage, you will find out the author guideline. Then from that, you can start preparing manuscript. Normally, the author guideline will give the full details starting from manuscript writing, preparing to the publication. I think you have to just follow this guideline, then you are done. Okay, so because I want to share something else, because I am serving as the editor for few international journals. Because of my experience, I want to share here the publication ethics. This is kind of serious problem nowadays, because many people try to violate the publication ethics. Okay, so here I want to show you the two examples. The first on your right hand side, one scientist, actually she did her PhD in NTU, Singapore, which is a very high rank university. Then she was working in another the research institute, but somehow the authority found out she did kind of manipulation her data during her PhD. Then her PhD was revoked, and same time she was sacked from her job. And the second story here, this one from Kyoto University from Japan. This kind of similar story. Of course, due to manipulation of data during a PhD, they also revoked their PhD. So you see, this is the two examples. There are many examples I can take. It is already happening many this type of story. So if I think we have to stop doing this plagiarism. Okay, what is the plagiarism? It's a kind of scientific misconduct. What does mean by scientific misconduct? Is a violation of standard code of scholarly conduct and ethical behavior in the publication of professional scientific research. How this motivation come in to do the scientific misconduct? Of course, because of career pressure, easy fabrication. You can see easily, you can fabricate the data, then you go for it, right? And also the monetary gains. Because of those reasons, people try to do the scientific misconduct. Anyway, nowadays, we can see this scientific misconduct. Here, I am going to highlight few points. The first one I want to highlight, the ghost and gift authorship. What does mean by ghost authorship? Let's say that someone really did the work starting to the end, but at the end, his name not in the manuscript, right? When they are ready to submit the paper to the journal, they don't include his name. That type of case we call as the ghost authorship. The other one exactly opposite to the ghost authorship, the gift authorship. The gift authorship meaning is really someone did nothing for that particular piece of work. Then at the end, during the submission, his name appear in the author list. That one is a gift authorship. I think we have to stop giving a ghost author or gift authorship any person. That one is against with the publication ethic. Other one is the research theft. Research theft also nowadays quite common. Here I am going to highlight few points relevant to the research theft. As I explained before, the reviewer doing the big part of the review process. Let's say the reviewer just get the review paper to be reviewed. Then what they're doing, they just reject the paper. Then they go and submit that paper as their own paper. So that one is a theft. That one is happening nowadays. And also the duplication of manuscript and publishing in multiple journals. Let's say you have the piece of work, already you have the manuscript ready. Then you send that manuscript to the several journals simultaneously. That kind of thing also, I think we have to stop doing it. Because if you want to do, I think first you have to send to the one journal, you wait for their comment. If they reject, you can go for the second journal. You cannot simultaneously submit one manuscript to the several journals. That one is against with the publication ethics. The next one actually, of course, is let's say because in the different region of the world using the different languages. As example, the Chinese people, they write their manuscript with their own language and publish it. Then another person can download that paper, they convert Chinese language to the English, then they will send that one to the English journal. That one also happening nowadays. So that one also against with the publication ethics. Then the most important one here, the plagiarism and self-plagiarism. That's why I put this one in a red color. This one is a really important nowadays. Okay, we will discuss a little bit more about the plagiarism and self-plagiarism. What is the meaning of the plagiarism? According to Professor Bruce, the presenting the data or interpretation of others without crediting them and thereby gaining for yourself the reward earned by others. It is a theft, and it eliminates the motivation of working scientists to generate new data and interpretation. Okay, that is the plagiarism. But if I want to say in a simple manner, you just copy someone else's work and you just claim as yours. That is the plagiarism in simply. You see, the plagiarism is the most common among the other ethical issues. You can see the other ethical issues, but plagiarism is the most common and highest number. You can see plagiarism covers among the ethical issues 46%, which is really high number. So I think we have to avoid doing this plagiarism. Okay, so how journal identify the plagiarism? Let me explain how this journal going to identify the plagiarism. Of course, editor, as I explained during the screening process, the first step, they will run through the plagiarism software. How normally, as you know, there are many databases, but normally we have about 30 million articles in our database coming from 50,000 journals. That journals belongs to 400 plus publishers. It's a huge, right? But if we send the manuscript to the journal will check the similarity of your manuscript with published article, right? For that one, there are many kind of softwares. Here I am going to show you the kind of most common software journal are using, the Turnitin, Grammarly, and Prostic, right? If we just throw the manuscript to any type of software, it will generate the report and saying that where the original source is. So I think we have to stop doing plagiarism. Otherwise, it's going to be a big issue for any authors. How are we going to stop the plagiarism? That's very easy, right? We have to do the proper citing other work. Meaning we have to give the credit to other works by citation. That's why citation is important, because of I can highlight here the three main reasons why citation is important. If we cite it properly, right, we can place your own work in the context. In our manuscript, we can have our own context. That is very good. And also, we have to acknowledge finding of others on which you have built your research, right? When you are starting your research, you are not going to start your research from zero, right? What you're doing, you just start reading the other article, getting their knowledge and so on. Then you're going to find the research gap and then start your research. But meaning your research, you're starting from some level. Already you have to acknowledge what they have done. That's what we can do easily. And also maintain the credibility and accuracy of the scientific literature. For those reasons, the citing properly is very important. Okay, the publication ethics actually, I can see nowadays call is a salami slicing. What does it mean? Let's say that you have done kind of lengthy research work. Then when it comes to the publishing your research work, they are not going to publish as it is. What they are going to do, they will cut the whole research piece by piece, then they try to publish piece by piece. That one also against the publication ethics. And there are other kind of ethical issues like ethical misconduct, meaning if any author involved with the human or animal testing, right? They have to get the prior approval from the correct authority before they start any research work. And also they should mention that one in their manuscript. what kind of the approval they got prior to the experiment, if you are dealing with the human or animal testing. And other common issue like honesty and the integrity, like fabricating research. They don't have any research data, then they make up all the data. It's a fake data. That one also we can observe when the authors send the manuscript to the journal. And also falsifying research, the manipulating existence. They have some data, but they're going to manipulate it. As example here, let's say that someone just did the repeat experiment 20 times, then cherry pick 5 times which fit the narrations. That one also wrong, right? Because you cannot pick the data how you want. It should be accordingly, you have to select the data. And also the exaggeration, because let's say you have the small story, when you are claiming, you're going to claim big. That one also against the publication ethics. And other one is the replication and the reproducibility crisis, because you see that you're going to publish as an author, going to publish the result. Then once it published, many people will follow the result, especially in the method section. People going to repeat the method using your method. If they cannot, you are not reporting correctly, they cannot repeat it. That's also against to the publication ethics. This is the recap from my talk today. Of course, we did discuss about the scholarly and peer review journal and publication cycle. Also, we discuss about the peer review process, journal matrices, how to select the journal for you to submit, and at the end, we discuss about the little bit about the publication ethics. Due to the time also, I think I should stop now. Before that, I want to show you this interesting picture here. This is the reality of the manuscript publishing. You are here with the manuscript. You have to go to this place to get your manuscript published, but along the way, not easy, right? Because there are many obstacles, you have to go through it, like obstacle like maybe your peers, your supervisor, lab mates, the reviewer, editor, etc. But still, you can go through the journey. Let me thank Professor Thotagamuge, President of IPSL, and also the Dr. Pitigala and Dr. Nope Arachi, who invited me for this talk and organized this event. Thank you very much for your attention as well. So if you have any question, please, you can ask now. Thank you very much.
Dr. Roshan, it's a very interesting presentation, and we were able to learn a lot about publishing a paper. As you mentioned, it's time for question. If you have any question, please free to ask. So I have one question about
yes, Prof, please.
About citation. How can increase our citation? I mean, citation also very important factor when we are considering about publication. How do we improve or increase our citation when we publish a paper?
Yes, for that one, of course, the first one, if you go for the high impact journal, that would be the best, because if you are going for the high impact journal, our visibility going to be very high. But apart from that, because nowadays we have kind of many platforms where we can do the visibility by our own. Like as example, we can use the Publons, we can use the ResearchGate, we can use the Google Scholar. If we do by ourselves, then we can attract the more audience to our work. I think is, of course, the first answer for me is the direct answer. If we have to publish in the high impact journal, the same time, we can do the visibility, make a visibility for our own paper by doing, using these all platforms like ResearchGate, the Publons, and Google Scholar.
Any more questions? So if you have, you can ask now. Don't worry, please feel free to ask. And if there are no more questions, let me thank Dr. Roshan Thotagamuge for his interesting presentation. And on behalf of IPSL, I would like to thank for participating in this. And I would like to Joint Secretary of IPSL for the vote of thanks. Over to Dr. Vasanthi.
Thank you, sir. So on behalf of IPSL, I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Roshan Thotagamuge accepting our invitation to present your ideas today. So also I would like to thank you for your time and your effort to communicate very clear idea of explanation on how to publish in scholarly journals. This is very helpful to our students, our faculty members, as well as those who are entering to publish their work in high impact journals. So thank you very much, sir, giving very insightful talk today. So I very honored to thank IPSL committee members to organize this monthly webinar series, especially Professor Thotagamuge, President IPSL, Dr. Chatrinupayarachi, convener of this webinar series. So also thank to all the participants of the day. I hope you had a great evening today. So our next webinar will be organized next month, 3rd week Saturday at 4:30 p.m. I hope to see you all at the next webinar. Thank you all. Have a good day to all.
Thank you very much for having me in this talk. And also I'm happy to do any collaboration in future as well. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much.